Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So it's time for October's mission inspiration, and I have already glued down the mission brief into my journal that I've already downloaded from the Facebook group. That's the URL on screen there. If you want to join us this month, all you have to do is pop across there, ask to join, and then you can download all the prompts and stuff for the last 10 years if you want. Yeah, last 10 years. You heard me right. So there's absolutely tons and tons of inspiration on there for you. But this month, it's obviously October. So the theme for this month is mystery and transformation. Themes are autumn in full swing, mystery, change, and of course, Halloween. So ideas are crisp air, pumpkins, dark tones, falling leaves, and costumes if you want. Random ingredients to include are mushrooms or fungi, handwriting, book text, the colour copper, and dashes. Now, when I first started looking at this, even though I created this prompt sheet, it's the first time I've looked at it since November last year, because I did them all in one go last year, and I haven't seen these since. And I thought, oh crikey, what am I going to do with this one then? So the first thing I always do when I look at a brand new prompt is I start gathering materials. There we go. So I have gathered together some red and orange paints. I've got black gesso and I've got white gesso. I've got some copper coloured luscious pigment powders, and I've also got a yellow colour which is called yellow pink. Yeah, I think I'm going to use that, but oranges and browns mostly. Now it does say dark tones, so what I thought I would do is I would also bring in a sheet of black cardstock this month, seeing as we're talking dark tones. Now it's only for a frame, so that's going to get stuck down there. And then I'm going to bring in a sheet from one of my art paper pads. So this is the All Hallows Checks and Stripes. It's got lots of stuff in here. This is almost empty now. I've raided it and used it and done all sorts of different projects with this stuff. Perfect Halloween papers, available as a physical paper pad printed on 170 GSM, about 115 pounds in weight, or also available from my website as a digital download, so you can also download all of the designs there. 32 sheets or 32 designs, checks and stripes in all sorts of lovely Halloweeny colours. So this is just one of them. And I thought this one would make a really good background, because it's got that kind of green at the bottom, and then it's got that orangey setting sun twilighty kind of orange and black stripes for dark tumultuous brooding clouds up in the top. And I thought I would cut that and stick that down as the base for my art journal page this month. And I've just realised I've put my trimmer away, so I'll just bring that back out, and I've already marked on the edges where I kind of want to cut it, so I'll just do that quickly, I'll say off camera-ish. There you go, just so you can see that there's no tomfoolery, jiggery pokery kind of hocus pocus going on. I'm not suddenly going, oh, and here's one I prepared earlier, as I do sometimes. Well, actually I do because I'm going to show you one in a minute that I've already prepared earlier. So that's going to be, I'm just throwing those sheets to one side, put that on the floor. Right, so this is going to be my backdrop. So what we can do is we can put that to one side now and start bringing this in. Now I've got a little bit of white torn edge along the end, don't mind that. I could grab some, in fact I will do, just for purism's sake, distress ink, and then we can just go along and kind of just darken those edges a bit. Don't really need it, but just to say we've done it. So when I kind of looked at this, I thought, oh crikey, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I started looking around, and as sometimes happens, inspiration, Mr. Mojo, ran away. He certainly did. He just got up and run for the hills and left me high and dry without a bloody idea about what I'm going to do. So to some extent, and I know, you know, we should all be prepared. If you don't prepare, then, you know, you prepare to fail, all that kind of stuff. But I thought, you know what, intuitive, just sitting down and doing something is sometimes just as good when you're art journaling. So what the hell, let's just do it today. I've got to do something because I have a duty and responsibility for the group, and you know, I am in the mood for doing. I just don't know what I want to do. Haven't particularly got 100% idea just yet about where this is going. So, book text. Got some old book text. Not really sure just yet how I'm going to incorporate that into the background, but I think what I would do is I'm going to probably create some strips, some kind of wispy strips, and just maybe add them into the background as well. So we'll do that. So grab some glue. I'm not using any matte medium. I don't want to overload the page. So it's mostly going to be kind of collagey stuff today. So let's stick that down there, which kind of breaks that line up a little bit. Get another piece. Actually, let's do it from this side. Maybe not quite as big. Sometimes it is fun just to wing it. Just wing it. Just sit down and do it. I was having this conversation with my friend Kay the other day. We had a play date the other day. And we were talking about doing classes and that kind of stuff, about, you know, the pressure of doing lives and that kind of stuff, because it's something that I want to investigate next year, or even before the end of this year. Is doing, you know, live broadcast, live streams, that kind of thing. I've been talking about it for long enough, and I've just, you know, investigated and looked at the technology needed, the software needed, all that kind of thing, the cost implication, how much it's going to cost to buy the right cameras, multiple cameras, all that kind of stuff, blah 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 blah. And then she was saying about, you know, having the extra stress of coming up with new ideas and techniques and that kind of stuff all the time. And I said, well, does it always have to be, you know, new? Can you not just sit down and do intuitive play? And she said, well, no, because, you know, when people sign up for the classes and things, they kind of want to know what materials that they're going to be using or what I'm going to be using so that they can play along. So she said, I need to know before I even sit down what I'm kind of doing. And I thought, oh yeah, it's a bit prescriptive. It's a bit, you know, if you've got to know beforehand. And then she says, but it's different for you. She says, because you can just sit and do an art journal page. And I thought, well, I don't know how different that would be, you know, how different that is. Why am I any different? And why can't she do it? I'm sure, you know, when she does her live streams, it's not all just about her own product and that kind of stuff. It is about the thought process. It is about what goes into, you know, thinking about and composition wise, and talking about, you know, what goes where and why you chose to put an element where you did, you know, and colour choices and that kind of stuff. But, you know, we're all different, I suppose. We all do things differently. Vive la différence, as the saying goes. Right, so I've added the book text into the background, and sort of looks like wispy clouds in the background. sort of. So let me put that to one side and then just bring back, what we say, so mushrooms and fungi, and it also says pumpkins. So what I thought might be fun today, and this is where it's the one I prepared earlier, is to do some hand-drawn focal points. So I've already got some white card and I've kind of drawn out some kind of fungusy, mushroomy characters, whimsical Halloweeny characters. And so there's 3 kind of little Halloweeny mushrooms there, or funguses. And I've also kind of, inspired by Tim Holtz's Sizzix pumpkin, I've just kind of drawn something similar there. So what I want to do is just grab some of that paint, and this is where it may get a bit messy play kind of thing. Small brush. I've got some paintbrushes and some water just off to one side, and I'm going to grab some of that yellow pink just for a bit of variation in tone, because I don't like putting flat colours down. It's best those bubbles off there. Actually, we are quite close in, aren't we? Let's just zoom out a tad. Don't want to go too mad because you don't want to see my knees. So let me just grab some yellow, some of that yellow pink. And look, I've already made a mess. And I'm just going to quickly start painting in. And it doesn't matter if we go over, it doesn't matter if, you know, we go over the lines, because we can always come back and reinforce those later. And if I go outside the lines, it doesn't matter, because I can always just cut them off. And then I'm going to grab some of that orange, and while it's still wet, I'm going to start painting it in. And this is the fun when you're doing stuff like this. You can just grab your colours and mix and just play. Create colours on the fly, as it were. So we're going to create a kind of pumpkin. So if I forget to talk, I'm sorry. I'm just lost in the moment. And of course you can grab, you know, smaller, bigger brushes, whatever. This is just what I had to hand. And we are just playing, so and then while that's still a bit wet, let's grab some of that brown. Grab some of that, and then we can just start painting in that kind of stalk thing at the top. And we've got a little bit of brown there, so we'll just bring in, just add in a little bit of shadow, a bit like underneath the eyes, down the nose ridge a little bit, maybe just underneath the mouth a little bit, and then just up here. Just follow the line down. There we go. Pick up a bit of that orange there because it's a bit too strong up there. Just bring that orange back down here again. And just have a bit of fun with the colour. And then I'll grab a little bit of that light colour. Almost like it's a cheekbone. We haven't done that bit there, have we? Why have we not done that bit? Because we forgot. There we go. Let's add a bit more dark down this side. Let's throw a bit of shadow and a bit of shade around this bit. There. Evil pumpkin. Alright, so let's put that to one side there for now, and then let's just bring back that yellow pinky colour, and then let's just paint in some stalks. And because it's an art journal page and it's whimsical, and we're not actually working from anything particularly anatomical, are we? We're just making this up as we're going along. We can just throw that rule book out the window as far as like any anatomical shapes or botanical nonsense can just go. And we can mix our own colours as we're going along. And we can just play with the colour palette. Orange, reds. It really doesn't matter. Just have fun with your colour. Add a bit of brown in. Right, so what I'll do, as soon as you've seen me do this already, a bit more orange into that and a bit more red in, is I'm going to whiz off on fast forward, and I'll do the other two funguses, and then I'll be back and I'll join with you again in just a little while. Right, so I've had to switch phones because one of them's gone flat. Okay, so paintings are kind of dry. So I've got some Faber-Castell Pitt pens. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to add in, that one's almost dry. Oh, let's go and find one of these. Yeah, that seems okay. Just add in a bit more kind of shade in. Just kind of like around the stalk area. Not blending as well as I thought it would today, but then again, nothing's working kind of the way I thought it would do today. But that's just the way of things. So let's just colour in as best we can. You can probably hear the rain on the roof. It's a filthy day today. I'm probably going to go back over this with a Posca because this isn't as dark as I expected it to be today. Let's have a look. I told you I'm winging it. Winging it. So let's just wing it. Grab a black Posca paint. Let's see whether we can get any better. That's a bit darker. It's better. So again, this may take a while for me to colour all these bits in. So I'll whiz off, carry on colouring, painting, filling in and doing, and I will join with you again in a little while, so enjoy the music. Alright, so I've just brought out some other colours because obviously mushrooms need white spots. It's like reverse measles. Just for a bit of fun. pale whimsical mushrooms. Yeah, kind of cute. And I've got a brown, which I don't think I've ever used. Or I might have. Yeah. Create a little bit of shade in. Horrible looking things, aren't they? Right, so let's just bring those alive just by adding a little catch point in there, and then for Mr. just a bit bigger, and then for him I think we will add some bigger spots. Almost look like pox marks, don't they? And why not? Just little bits of texture that you can add just to kind of bring him to life. So what I need to do now is just have a quick clean up. There we go. Get these dried off and then I'll be right back. Alright, so I've just realised that I haven't added in any copper just yet. So let's do that now. So I'm just going to mix a little bit of water with some Luscious pigment powders, just ordinary water. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a few kind of like metallic-y shimmers just into that pumpkin up here. Now, I know you're probably not going to be able to see that. Not until it's probably dry anyway. And then for the mushrooms, we'll add that just down the sides here. Just so it adds a little bit in there. It's not overwhelming, it's not in your face, it's just there when you look. That'll do. We can just tick that off as one of our items done then. In fact, let's just bring in, put those to one side to dry. Let's just bring that back in a minute. So what we've got so far, we've got mushrooms done, we've got copper in there now, we've got book text as well, we've got handwriting and dashes to add, but not just yet. I was going to consider using this stamp from Indigo Blue, which is the Pumpkin Monster, but I decided not to. I decided to go with my own. So that's what we're going to do. So let's flip that over. And then drop that down on the page. Alright, so we're ready to start constructing now. But before we do that, we need to get this lot dried off really quick and then cut out. Alright, so it's scissors time. So I'm now going to go around the outside. And cut out my little pumpkin monster, my jack-o'-lantern. So rather than you watching me fussy cut or fancy cut, I'll whiz through this really quickly and I'll join with you again. Una momento. Okay, so mushroom monsters, pumpkin monster, distressing, so we'll start adding in a bit of grunge. One, so again, you don't want to sit there watching me adding distressing, which is uber boring. So I'll whiz off, deal with this, and I'll be back again in a minute. All right. Love those little characters. Let's bring that in up there. Now then, are we going to be able to get all three of these in, I wonder? Yes. Just have to tuck him there in the corner, don't we? Alright, so let's start with that one. Then this one. Does that give us enough room? Yes, of course it does. Of course, if I'd have planned it properly, I could have probably done them just a little bit smaller. But do you know what? Does it really matter? No. Not in the grand scheme of things. And then the pumpkin can go just like that. Let's do them so it's breaking out of that frame. Alright, so now that we're all glued down, let's add in some little bits of detail. Make him a bit more pumpkin-like. Bit more pumpkin-like, and then you can just add a little bit more across the bottom here, and then just maybe a few lines just down here. It just kind of like helps just to add a little bit more. Just to your characters. Just give him a little nose there. And then down here at the bottom, we'll just break up that bit of black just there. Just so it doesn't look out of place. And they don't just look plonked on. All right, so so what do we need to do now? We need to add some handwriting and some dashes. We'll save the dashes till last. So our final pieces. So the handwriting. So this is going to be a bit of a difficult one because I don't want to spoil this. So what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to write, I think, with a white Posca pen. Alright, now wish me luck because I'm bound to make a complete mess of it. So let's just write in here. And then this is where they bring the white pen in. So what we'll do is we will go along the black border, or along that as far as we can. Just along the edge of the paper. We can add in some faux stitching. which is almost the same as dashes. And I think I'm going to draw a line under it there. So we've now got dashes in and we've now got handwriting in. And we've also got pumpkins, mystery, dark tones and Halloween. So I would say mission accomplished. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me create this art journal page for October's mission inspiration. If you have, please remember to give the video a thumbs up, share it with the friends, your friends, the friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. And don't forget, on screen there is the URL for our Mission Inspiration Facebook group, where you can join in our monthly art challenges. Just click the link, which is also below the video, and you can find it also over on my blog. That's all from me for now. I'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. And don't forget, you can access your exclusive angel-only content over on my website. There's a link in the description area below. Thank you.